some of you have been to Alaska, and some of you are planning to go to Alaska, and I think most of you are fishermen, but everyone deserves to see and fish and experience Alaska. When I was a kid, I grew up on a little trout stream about that wide in the middle of Minnesota. I moved to Colorado out of the military and became a fly fisherman. I know some of the waters you guys fish. And I got bred into me somehow in that time frame that when I saw running water, it was addictive. Well, I started flying here because I wanted to go to Alaska. One of my school teachers said, hey, you got to get your pilot's license if you're going to go to Alaska. So I did that. And then I got an ability to get a job in Alaska flying. So I actually went to Alaska as a pilot, commercial pilot. Well, I picked a place to go to that had the best looking fishing. Went to the library, looked up Bristol Bay, and by golly, that was the spot. So out of 180 some resumes, I got 15 offers, and a couple of them were in Bristol Bay, and that's how I ended up there. I landed in Bristol Bay in May of '78, so I've been there pushing 30 years, or maybe a little over. I started my fishing business in '81, October of '81. First year of operation was '82. Since that time, I've lived and operated on the Nushagak River, which is primary tributary that this dam and mine and all the toxicity stuff we're worried about is going to be running down if it ever happens. The fish that come into the Nushagak, there's 5 strain of salmon, and they all come out of the Bering Sea. These fish support a huge ecosystem. I mean, from the fish to the mammals, etc., that live out there. Then they come to Bristol Bay, and all the people that live there live on, subsist on, make a living fishing them. Bristol Bay, without the smell of fish, would be no reason to be there. Okay, pure and simple. Fish is their life. The sport fishing industry is kind of small compared, but the commercial fishery is huge. Last year they harvested the 3rd largest harvest of salmon in Bristol Bay in history. Now when you can imagine, if you go back about 80 years or however long ago it was, that they shut the whole tributary of the Nushagak off with nets and caught every fish that came up. The mindset was a little off, but they depleted the fishery in just a number of years. Well, anyway, they still didn't attain the harvest that we had last year in the bay. So it's a huge, huge fishery. It's the largest sockeye run in the world. Okay, that alone should give you some perspective on what that amounts to. That's one of the 5 Pacific salmon that run those rivers. It's the largest king run in Alaska. I don't know about the rest of the world, but it's got the largest king, Chinooks, which average in the 20-pound range. That's a dandy fish, and they're a wonderful fish. Then we got chum and humpies and coho salmon. So that rounds out the numbers, and they run from middle of May till middle of September and beyond. So it's a parade of salmon from start to finish for the season there. And when we arrived there in May, there's still ice on the lakes. There's still snow in the hills. There'll be snow in the hills till the middle of July and maybe later. And if we aren't careful, we'll have fresh snow on the hills by early September. So it's a real short, compressed season, but it's a tremendous setting for what's going on there. There's so much water, and that's why there's so many salmon. It's one of the most prolific fish production things in the world. So that's how great it is and how crazy it is to jeopardize it. And if I leave you with any one thing tonight, or this film leaves you with any one thing, get a copy. There's more to that film than you saw. Every time I look at that film, for the first half dozen times, I saw something different. I saw something that I didn't notice before. get it for your own living room to sit down and see the whole thing through and through and through again, because it's that good. But if I leave you with one thing, you're a fishing person. You're a lover of the wild places. You're a lover of fresh water. You're into this program. Get passionate. Get seriously passionate. Because if we don't do that, it's going to go. And with it, it's going to go all of this super neat environment that's so special to every single person that likes the outdoors. And we're talking a wilderness that's pristine. I wouldn't drink the water without boiling it first, because I know there's beavers in the country. So when you look at that water, you know it's clean and clear. When I got to Alaska and started getting out in the sticks in about 1980, I had a gold pan in my floats. And I panned, and I panned, and I panned for gold. And I didn't pan on the Nushagak anywhere that I didn't come up with color. That river is what the water runs down to from where this mine is going to be. I had a fear in my soul for that whole 30 years, all this time up until Pebble showed up, that something was going to happen with the mining in that country, because there is gold everywhere. It's not in clinkers or clunkers, it's in dust. It collects on every inside of a bend, every pile of moss, every stump that lays in the water. You can shake the dirt out of that, wash it out, and you'll see some gold. And the whole bay is the same. There's, if you looked at the charts that these people have that look for precious metals, they've got sign of it all over the place. Just like we got gas in the United States, all over the place, coal all over the place, we've got minerals in Alaska. If they get a door cracked open with Pebble Mine, they're going to just clean out the rest of that whole area of that state. What have we got when we're done with that? Have any of you ever seen what's going on in Arizona? They got tailings you can drive by and look at, and you'll think it's a mountain, but it's just too regular. And you ask what it is, and it's mine tailings. Well, that's what that country's going to be. Now, they've hosed Alaska bad already. If you go to certain places in the state, you can find all kinds of evidence of hydraulic mining, mining activities. So go out of here with a passion to contribute. Even if it's $10, 1,000 people do that. We got enough to put a full-page ad out and show it to the world. Okay? That's what it's going to take. It's going to take this film. It's going to take your voice, your money, and your energies. Tell everybody you can to fight Pebble Mine. Not for me. By the time this goes, I'll be gone someday. It'll be, history. Our kids, their kids, the subsistence lifestyle, the commercial fishery. Sport fishery is kind of small, but it's still important because it's an opportunity for all of us to go there and do this, catch fish. I operate in the upper end of the Nushagak River. There's not a road. There's not a power line. There's not a bulldozer track. But there's wolf tracks. There's bear tracks. There's rainbows that have never seen the hand of man. They are genetically pure. Have you ever caught a wild native trout? This is a spot you can do that. They aren't this big. They're just nice. If any of you want some literature, I've got a little paper handout. If you want to ask questions, I'll hang out here till the door gets slammed behind me. But I've said my piece. I want to thank the gang, the people that made this possible. I can't say enough about the guys that made the film. They put their soul into it. I watched them.